Well, welcome back to the podcast, folks. Today, I have the pleasure of sitting down with Ellie Lyons. Ellie, thanks so much for being here.
Yay, I'm excited.
Yay.
Thanks for
Hell
having me.
yeah. Absolutely. So, for those listening, Ellie is a holistic health practitioner, event experience curator, seasoned operations leader with over a decade of experience supporting mission driven startups and entrepreneurs. She's also the co founder of Is It Clean, a nonprofit advocating for food safety and consumer transparency, and Journey for Cacao, a separate venture, which is a heart led offering devoted to sharing the sacred plant medicine of cacao. She's also a certified yoga instructor, Reiki practitioner, herbalist, and self proclaimed green witch. She's also one of my favorite ex colleagues and a dear friend. So, Ellie, thanks again so much for being here.
Yeah, exciting.
Hell yeah. So, business love stories, and you've got two kind of in the cauldron, as it were, at the moment.
Yeah.
Obviously, two origin stories to hear there, I guess. Which one did you start first? And maybe it makes sense to start by talking about whichever venture
I th-
chronologically came into being
yeah,
first.
I think Is It Clean started first, but it's funny because they kind of started like not soon after the other. But Is It Clean, I think, officially started first.
Yeah. So, what's the origin story? Where did the seed to create that
Yeah.
emerge from?
Yeah, Is It Clean, the nonprofit, started out of my own pain point of wanting to know what's in food and what do ingredients mean because I wanted to eat healthier because I had a slew of different health challenges. And so did my partner, and we were just kind of like looking to eat cleaner. And I would spend hours and hours at the grocery store, and I would be picking items up that I thought were healthy or have been eating and being like, this is weird that there's an entire paragraph of ingredients. Like, is this actually even real food? And I would sit there Googling each ingredient because some of the quote ingredients, especially in the United States, are just these long chemical names, essentially.
Yeah,
It's not real
yeah.
food. And so I'm like, what's sodium
What does that mean?
bicarbonate? And what's
Right.
natural flavors? Are they actually natural flavors? And so I was like, wouldn't it be so cool? Actually, backtracking a little, at the time I was using a company called Good on You. I don't know if you've ever heard it.
I have heard
Um,
of.
Good on You is for clothing. And so it's for, they rate clothing companies on their sustainability practices. Highly
Uh
recommend
huh.
if no one's using that yet, definitely use that. And I was using it for clothes.
Uh
And
huh.
then there's EWG, which I use for products. And so this is how I know like what cleaning products are safe because a lot of
Uh
our
huh.
cleaning products and materials that are in that are really unsafe for us. And so I was like, wouldn't it be so cool if there was these two things for food?
Yeah.
And I started researching a little bit, and there was like two other apps that had just started that were starting to do food ratings, and they're better than nothing, and I'm happy that they exist, but I had my own qualms with them as I started to learn about ingredients in food, because at the end of the day, food isn't, unfortunately, black and white, where there's a lot of food deserts in America, for example, which mean that there's no access to clean food. And so, and then just even where, like in certain cities where like you think that there should be access to clean food, there isn't. And maybe the only place that you can get food at is a grocery store that doesn't really sell many healthy options. And so if you have the choice of getting something terrible for you or really bad with no nutrients and something that has like 50% nutrients, I want people to be able to make that decision and know which one is better, even if it's not the best option. And
Yeah.
so that's where some of these other apps were a bit black and white for me. And so we developed Is It Clean? And so we created a website and we created our own rating system on both ingredients and food. And it just came out of me wanting something for myself. Like I was like, how could this be an easier experience than me sitting in the grocery store researching? Like I'll never forget, there was one point where I was in a grocery store and I was looking at every kind of bread that was on the shelf. And I don't know how long I was there, clearly for a long time. And this man came up to me and goes, what are you looking for? Like, when are you going to choose a bread? Because he was like
Right.
watching me. And I was
Yeah.
like, started laughing. And he's like, what are you looking for? You've been here so long. And I was like,
I've done
I'm
the same
looking.
thing.
Yeah. I was like, I'm looking for the
Yeah.
cleanest bread. He goes, what do you mean the
Yeah.
cleanest bread? And I pulled up two options and I literally taught him about
Yeah.
ingredients on the spot.
Yeah.
And I was like, this
Yeah.
bread has 3 ingredients and this bread has 50. We don't
Uh-huh.
want 50 ingredients in our bread ever or any of our food. So I was like, this is the best bread. And now I know that, but I had to look at all 20 options.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, it's great. Awesome mission. I wish we had something like that down here. Because I've certainly found myself in the same situation, kind of like doing exactly that, standing in the
Yeah.
supermarket aisle for like who knows how long and just kind of like Googling, like what the hell is this ingredient?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not always easy to get a straight answer. Well, that's cool. And so at the same time as birthing that, the cacao thing kind of started to come together as well with Kenzie. Do you want to speak into that a little bit, and what was the
Yeah.
genesis of that?
Absolutely. So that is a super fun love story, literally. So Kenzie is one of my best friends and also now has turned into my business partner unintentionally, which is the best kind. So Journey with Cacao started accidentally out of, again, me and Kenzie just wanting to create something for ourselves. And
Yeah,
then we did it with no intention or any foresight of it ever being like a business. And then it kind of just catapulted into one, which was really cool. So, my first cacao ceremony that really like touched my heart, pun intended, because it's heart medicine,
yeah,
um, was at a Maverick event actually. So, for those that don't know, Maverick is an entrepreneur organization that's how me and Chris met. And so we had a cacao ceremony there at an event. And that was the first time I was like, whoa, there's something here. Like there's something deeper here. And I think that like planted the seed. And
yeah,
then fast forward to a couple years later, I did herbalist training. And every month in my herbalist training, we would be given a couple herbs and plants to choose from to work with for 30 days. And in February, because it's almost a year-long program, in February, one of the options was cacao. And so I worked with cacao and kind of crazy story, actually. So I was dealing with some left breast pain that I could not figure out. No doctors could figure out. I did all the tests, all the things, everything came back normal. And I was kind of just like dealing with this pain that didn't make sense to anyone.
yeah.
I drank cacao for the month of February and I didn't notice, but my pain started to go away, which is
Huh.
very interesting because, again,
Yeah,
left breast is right over the heart, cacao,
yeah,
heart
yeah,
medicine.
yeah, yeah.
And then Kenzie simultaneously was learning about cacao and being exposed to more cacao. And so in April, Kenzie came to me and was like, "Hey, do you want to drink cacao together for 30 days and replace coffee? I think it would be a really fun thing to do." And I was like, "I love that idea. It would be so fun to do it with someone." And
Yeah.
she's like, "We can set an intention each day and we'll just like send each other photos of our cups for accountability." And then she was like, "Do you think we should invite anyone to it?" And I was like, "How about you invite one friend and I invite one friend?" And
Right.
so this fun May thing a couple years ago was like up these four friends in a WhatsApp group, just sharing our daily cup of cacao and seeing what comes
Yeah.
out of it. It was like magic at the end. And we were all like, can we keep doing this? This was so fun. Like
Yeah, I think I
it
got in on round 2, I think.
yeah, exactly. And so after that, both of them were like, "Can we do this again? You guys have to do this again." And me and Kenzie were like, "I guess we're doing this again." And so then we did another one in July and we invited more people. And that was like way bigger. And then people loved it. And they were like, "Is there going to be more? Can we do it again?" So we did another one. And then it just slowly, it was like people asked for it. And we were like, "I think there's something here." Like, and we really like just naturally created this experience and community of sharing cacao with people, and it's been really wild and transformative to see.
Yeah, that's amazing. So take us deeper into the heart of cacao, if you would, like that first experience you had, maybe, or some of the mythology or legend or science, or like how is it heart medicine? I guess what does that mean?
Yeah, so cacao, for those that don't know, is the plant that we make chocolate from. So the difference between chocolate or cacao. And so cacao has been used for thousands and thousands of years as this like ancient medicine, in some cultures, even as a currency, which is really cool. And
Didn't know that. That's
yeah,
that's fascinating.
yeah. And so ceremonial cacao it means that the plant is still grown and kept and the land is still stewarded is exactly how it's always been. So by certain indigenous communities. So for example, like my favorite place to get cacao is from an indigenous tribe called the Bribri tribe in Costa Rica through a company called Cacao Magic. And so the heart medicine. So there's all these different layers to it. So on the physical level, cacao actually really helps pump more blood into your heart. So it physically is heart medicine. It's like uplifting your heart physically and like building it up. It's really good for your blood. What were you going to say?
It like opens your arteries or capillaries or
Yeah,
something. Is that right?
exactly. It helps, right? It's like literally like expanding. And I always talk about it like, and I'll just state for the record, I am not demonizing coffee, but the difference between, let's say, coffee and cacao. So
Yeah.
coffee is really restrictive to the physical body and it's more in the mind. Cacao is expansive physically for the body and it drops you into your body. So on the physical level, it's like actually doing things to your physical body and heart. Then you start getting deeper onto the emotion level or even the spiritual level, and you're getting deeper into, okay, heart chakra. So if we're physically working on the heart, that's also our heart chakra at the end of the day. And
Uh-huh.
so it's a really great plant ally for working on your heart, whether that means like self love or love out into the space or being more in your body. And it really shows up in different ways for different people, which is really cool. So,
Yeah.
from both a cacao perspective and even just like my herbalist background now of like all plants as medicine essentially is that the plants meet us where we're at. So even me drinking cacao that February, it was like, oh, I clearly had some heart healing to do and some heart chakra work to do. And the plant was there for me, which was really special.
Yeah. Um, what is your daily, I assume daily, what does your cacao ritual look like
For Journey with Cacao or me personally?
for you personally?
Me personally, so I don't drink cacao necessarily every day. It's definitely a huge part of my life. When we're leading cacao 30-day cacao monthly journeys, I'm drinking it every day, but I usually wait, I listen. Like a big part of cacao is like we feel a draw to it and a call to it when we most need it. And so I practice that. Like there are times where it's like sometimes someone might crave a special drink or something, but I sit with it and I go, oh, is cacao really what I want right now? Is cacao really the plant ally or the spirit that's meant for me right now? And I try to ask that
Mhm.
instead of just going to it out of habit, like we would a cup of coffee, for example.
I see. Yeah,
And
that's
so I'll go
interesting.
through phases, I guess. I guess to answer your question, it'd be like I go through
Yeah.
phases. Sometimes I'm drinking it every day for a while, and then all of a sudden I might wake up and be like, I want a break right now. It doesn't feel like
Yeah.
this is for me right now.
Yeah. And when you do have cacao, is it kind of like, for me, I drink a lot of green tea, and as you know, from I think staying together in an Airbnb in San Diego a few years back.
Lots of green tea.
Yeah, lots of green tea. That's my way to try to reduce coffee, because
Yeah.
green tea is obviously still slightly caffeinated, but it has something else in there,
Yeah, it's so good for you.
L-theanine or something like that.
Yeah.
That is like the calmer as well. So you get like the caffeine, and you get this other L-theanine, I think it's called, which balances it out, and so you kind of get an alert calmness. Um, do you notice anything? Like, what are the physical sensations or like emotional? You said like coffee's more in your head, cacao's more in your body. Like, if I'm interested in exploring cacao further, right? And I have done a little bit with you. I feel like I'm often too in my head, and
Mm,
maybe I'm too in my head to even kind of like fully appreciate the power of cacao. So, like, I guess how can I tune into it so that I'm kind of getting the either I don't want to say the most out of it, but like so that I can tune into uh to be yeah, I guess like most in tune with the
yeah.
benefits that cacao
Yeah,
offers.
that's a really good question. So a couple things. So one would be the cacao is always going to meet you where you're at. So like you just said is like if you feel like you are living a lot in your head, and that maybe is it even a potential block to where there's not this opening for the cacao to fully come into the body. So that's something
Uh-huh.
interesting. The
Yeah.
other is it's interesting that you're feeling a call to work with it more though. And so we
Yeah.
always talk about like cacao calls to people and like
Uh-huh.
draws people in when they're ready for it, when it's ready to support you in whatever way you need. And then the other part of this is intention. So completely reframing, like, yes, sometimes we suggest that it's great to maybe when you do a 30-day cacao journey with us, we suggest like not drinking alcohol for 30 days or maybe
Mhm.
cutting out coffee for 30 days. But really, it's like we're trying to open up the channels further. And rather
Yeah.
than like replace the cup of coffee, it's like looking at it as it's a completely different thing. Like cacao's medicine at the end of the day, it's this very ritualistic ceremony, reverend medicine from the earth that deserves and demands respect.
Yeah.
And so if we can slow down and go, I'm not just holding a cup of cacao, like roasted cacao beans in hot water or whatever in my mug. I'm holding this ancient medicine in this cup. Like,
Mhm.
wow. And like,
Mm.
can we slow down enough to notice the ritual and gratitude and ceremony in it? And so,
Mhm.
like, it could just be something as simple as how slowly can you make your cup of cacao? Can you think
Mhm.
about all the resources and people it took to make that cup of cacao? Once you
Mhm.
have it in your hands and you're holding your cup, like slowly, like start to notice the sensation in your body. It's really a meditation at the end of the day that you're doing with this plant. And then it's like you're doing all these things of slowing down so that you're able to start to tune in to, hey, what does cacao have for me today? Or like Christian, my husband will make the joke, he'll hold his cup of cacao and he just like does a little meditation and then goes, "Okay, I'm opening up for the cacao goddess to like give me whatever I need today." And it's like that's his opening and that's really cool and works for him.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's like putting a physical intention into your cup like I really want to feel love or I really want to like touch into my heart or and share that with everyone I interact with today, etc.
Got it.
The last piece I'll share of that is really knowing where your ceremonial cacao is coming from. Um, it's a really like chocolate, there's a dark side of chocolate. I feel like that's at least has been talked about or is becoming more talked about. And so really knowing where your cacao is coming from, honoring that tribe, doing the research. Like someone recommended cacao to me the other day and I was like, "Oh, I'm always up for trying new cacao." And I went to the website and there's nothing on the website about why the company was founded, who founded it, where
Mhm.
it's coming from. It says it's ceremonial cacao and it says it's coming from these South American countries, but there's not much more info. And so I don't feel like I would feel like I would be doing a disservice to cacao as medicine to not know that information before consuming that or purchasing
Yeah.
it. And so it's
Mhm.
like reaching out to that company and asking those questions and learning more about it.
Yeah. 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 Great points. Coming back to the ceremony itself, and as Christian asks, what does the goddess of cacao have for me today? What might you do next after asking a question like that? Is it just you sit and just kind of enter any particular kind of meditation, just simple like bring awareness to the breath sort of thing, or
Yeah, just slowing down, like getting your cup and really slowly drinking it, really. Cause, like, think about how fast we drink even tea or coffee or eat
yeah,
food. And it's
yeah,
like, this isn't just a cup of hot chocolate in our hands. It's not just a
yeah,
cup of coffee. It's like we're not in a rush to get anywhere. And you can also go in with no expectations, which is the beautiful part is like, hey, this is this ancient medicine. I'm going to really slow down and enjoy it and really open up. And so what we do is lead through like really slowly welcoming the plant into the body. And so
yeah.
that could mean like very slow sips. It could be like holding it in your mouth for a little bit and noticing the sensations in the body, seeing where the cacao goes in the body. Like that's really interesting to follow the sip and the energy. And maybe it goes down like an arm, maybe it stays in the heart, maybe it goes down the belly or it gets all the way down to a foot. And it's just
Hmm.
interesting to sit and explore and listen and like really tune in.
And there's a relationship there with self love, like that you might obviously it's kind of a I mean just simply engaging, taking the time to slow down and engage in a ritual like that and listen to I guess your inner voice, right? Is it a tool for tuning into, I guess,
Yeah,
your
totally.
heart's voice, your inner voice, your heart's voice,
Yeah, I would
something like
say,
that?
like, really tuning into your heart because it's heart medicine at the end of the day, and the reality is just like we know when we meditate, sometimes we have thoughts swirling around, and that's okay too,
Yeah.
but
I
what
think
I love about cacao is it invites that drop into the body. You're moving down the chakras rather than staying up here, up high,
yeah.
and you're moving down the body, this dysregulating, like, coming down.
So you're listening to the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think that's where I went wrong. I think I was having it in the morning, and probably my force of habit in the morning is kind of like, what's on the agenda for today? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, like maybe I do some journaling normally in the morning and sort of like filter through some junk that's rolling around in my head and kind of like figure out like, okay, what's the junk and like what are the closed open loops from yesterday? How do I close those? What's on the to-do list? It's like it's quite heady. It does, that journaling process kind of like does create time to slow down enough to hear what might I guess to make sense of the jumble in our head, right? And maybe to tune in a little bit to like intuition or the quieter voice in the mind.
Mm.
um but I think it's still kind of in the mind, you know what I mean, like or at least my practice
Yeah.
probably has a tendency to be still a little bit kind of heady.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for sharing that yeah, to bring the awareness more to the heart, I guess, when
Yeah, and I think, like,
participating.
reframing it too, like and it doesn't even have to be long. It could just be like, "Hey, how can I just only sit here with my cup of cacao for 5 minutes and do nothing else?" Like, turn everything else off and out
Yeah,
of my space so I can just be with this ancient medicine in my cup and
yeah,
really just take awareness for that and slow down with it. And maybe it's like journaling beforehand actually helps because then you get a lot of your thoughts out
true.
and then try cacao, or you could even
Yeah,
explore what could cacao look like in the evening instead, especially if you're
yeah,
getting cacao magic and it's unroasted with no caffeine, then you could
uh-huh,
even try like sometimes in our journeys, people will choose to have it in the evening, and that's
uh-huh,
really cool and a
yeah.
whole different type of experience.
I guess like part of the reverence with which it's held in the communities that it of origin, is that it's held as sacred and made with love, right?
Yeah,
A lot of
exactly.
a lot of that kind of vibe, yeah.
So it's like, how can we hold that in this
Exactly.
experience of consuming it?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a good thing to bring awareness to and to yeah to focus on appreciating that essentially that you're consuming something that's made with love with so much reverence. And I think that that's like an interesting jump off point to talk about like business love stories, because I think that's the essence of business love stories is that you can tell when something is made with love.
Yeah,
Like you go to a
100%.
restaurant, you go to McDonald's, for example, you can tell that that's probably not made with a whole lot of love,
Right,
right?
it's slapped together and as fast as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So that's a really interesting concept though, Chris, is like, yeah, with like the food and cacao in this example too, but really anything, your clothes, your house, like
Yeah.
the table that, or even your laptop, it's like, who made it? Because that energy is infused in the
Yeah,
making and the creation of that. And so they talk about
exactly.
that with cacao is who's growing it? What land is it grown on? Is the
Yeah.
land cared for? Is the land loved? Are the
Yeah.
people picking the plant and roasting the beans on the
Yeah.
rock? Like, and it's like, is
I'm
that all with love? Are the people who are
covered
like
in goosebumps
pouring
right
it?
now.
Yeah, it's like that really is it. And you feel that when you go to a restaurant, like, wow, this
Yeah.
food was made with love, or it
Yeah.
wasn't. And you're like, I can feel that this was slapped together and it doesn't taste
Y
as good.
yeah. So, what do you think about like, there's a quote that floats around on the internet in a few different permutations. I think one of them is attributed to Brené Brown that we can only love each other as much as we love ourselves.
Mm.
Um, I guess, like, first of all, do you agree with that? And also, like, then by extension, can you extrapolate that out to business and sort of say we can only create from love to the degree that we've learned to love ourselves?
I know I'm really thinking about that quote. Say it again.
We can only love one another, or we can only love others as much as we've learned to love ourselves.
I don't know if I agree
Let's
with
start
that.
there. Yeah, please. Neither do I.
I'm like, I don't think I agree with that because even just from my life experience and friends and family is like, I think as now I'm gonna get into like a whole rabbit hole, but like for example,
I love
so
rabbit holes.
as as women, for example, so I've been deep in a rabbit hole of like the feminine
Yeah.
and the mother archetype
Uh-huh.
and how that shows up and like even as women, like how we're trained in society to like care for and nurture other people before
Yeah.
ourselves, at least in this current
I was sort
society.
of like this concept passed through my head before this call, so I'm so glad that you're bringing it up.
Yeah. And so like something I've been unpacking and really trying to work on personally is like how can I love myself and put myself first, kind of like we talk about on the airplane. And I thought this concept was really
Yeah.
interesting when I read this about like men versus women, for example. So, like, women are taught to take care of everyone around them and then
Yeah.
themselves last. And
Yeah.
men are taught to take care of themselves first so that they can then take care
Yeah.
of other people around them. And it's like that's such an interesting duality and like oppositeness. And like you take the airplane where they're constantly like, I always make a joke, like, when you're on an airplane and they're like, "When the masks come down, always put
Yeah.
your mask on first before other
Yeah.
people's," and it's like,
Yeah.
that that was meant for a mother who's constantly gonna think of th their child before
Yeah.
themselves, and is that
Yeah.
really what's helpful? And so it's like, in that concept coming back to that quote or the love is like, I love people so deeply and so much, but that doesn't always mean that I'm loving myself to that same degree, and I don't think that because I haven't always, like, loved myself as deeply, that doesn't change how much I'm able to love others.
Right. And would you even go further and say that you learn in some ways to love yourself by loving others?
100%, because we're not meant to be, like,
An island?
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
we're meant to be in tribe, we're meant to be connected, we are connected, we are part of the earth, we're meant to be in tribe culture, we're meant to be community beings, so by
Yeah.
default, we 100% learn to love ourselves by being with others.
And being of service and
Yeah,
caring for others gives us dignity, I guess, like, or purpose and what have you.
yeah.
So it's like a
So
two-way
much,
street.
like, intricate sorry, what were you gonna say?
Well, so do you think it's a two-way street though, that like you can learn to love or to gain respect and love yourself through those acts of care and care for others, but also there's a part I think, and correct me or tell me if you don't agree, but like I guess what we've been talking about with the cacao and taking the time to sit with it and giving yourself that, giving us the self-care component of, I know that this is going to nourish me. And the more that I can take care of myself and nourish myself, the better I'll be able to show up for myself and others.
100%.
So
Yeah,
it's a
I
two-way
totally
street.
agree
Yeah.
with that. And what's so fun about this conversation too, I realized is like cacao is a community medicine, really. Like
Oh, yeah. That's an interesting aspect to
cacao,
bring in, huh?
yeah, like cacao draws people in
Yeah. Yeah.
and it has this funny special way of like even when I've been we see it even like Yannick at Maverick events too. Like, I don't know if you've experienced this. Me and Kenzie experience it all the time when we bring cacao with us to events or at different spaces at our families' houses. There's always one or two people that are like, "What are you doing? What is that?
Yeah.
Will you tell
They're
me about it?
curious.
Can I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
some?"
So it has
And
a
it's like,
virality built in.
yeah, yeah, it like
Yeah.
just is this energy that pulls people in, which is so cool.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And then in
And the
different
community.
indigenous communities, they use cacao as like, "Oh, okay, someone's struggling in the community. Let's do a cacao ceremony. Let's all come together in community. Oh, okay, like someone's having a hard time. Oh, we're celebrating something. Let's come together and have cacao as a community." And it's
Yeah.
like it's a community love ritual or ceremony, if you
Yeah.
will, using
Yeah.
this beautiful medicine from the earth.
Right. So we've established then that like it's not necessary to only love your, or it's not practical or helpful or wise to seek to only kind of build self-love before kind of going out into the world and kind of like engaging with others, right? Like, but rather It's by engaging and being of service to others that we can develop self-love is one of the methods of developing self-love. And then also slowing down and taking the time to nourish and care for yourself is also another way to deepen it. So it's essentially two sides to the same coin,
For
you'd say.
sure. Yeah. Like, it's
So
not like
then,
you have to do one before the other.
yeah, they're kind of symbiotic.
Right.
So then, like, if we come back to like making something with love, right? Like how the Brewery tribe make cacao, and it's and they're doing it with this intentionality of love. If if a if somebody who was looking to be of service to the world, I guess, and had entrepreneurial inklings, so was potentially pursuing a business love story. Um, would would the same be true in terms of like the self-love thing where you need to cultivate it internally uh and externally for in relationship with others? Is the same true for making something with love, would you say? I guess do you start out, I guess maybe I'm gonna like answer answer my own question to a degree, but like would you start out by, I guess, again, maybe is it symbiotic where you're creating something to be of service to others? I don't know how those balloons just went off, but that was
I
pretty cool.
love it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were excited.
Yeah.
We got it. We're here. We're in the right place.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, the universe is, I think, like just affirming that we're on the right track here.
100%.
Um, yeah, so like, how does one create a business love story? How does one create something with love? Is
Yeah.
that, yeah, I'll pass it to you.
I think it could be either, but of like at the end of the day, is it coming from your heart? And it's like, what's the why behind it? Like, you can feel the difference when something was created to make profit or make money. And you can feel the difference when something is made from someone's heart. And it's
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm trying to share this love with other people and not
Yeah.
just for myself. So I could even use the example of like, is it clean? Where it's like I could have just created something that helped me, but it meant so much that I was like, "Oh, wow, like, I love this. Why would I not wanna share it with people?" It's like it's something that we're not selfish with. It's like, "Okay, this is so important and means so much, and it's coming from my heart," and you feel that, and then it's like, "Why would I not wanna share that with other people? Because I want them to feel that love too. I want them to benefit as well." And
Yeah.
maybe they're right. If there's something in that where it's like this interconnectedness of impacting community, impacting others, and not from an ego standpoint or a look at me standpoint, but a love standpoint. And that's the difference.
Yeah. What do I love that others can benefit from, or something
Yeah.
like that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good
Yeah.
question.
Hmm. Yeah. So it's a spiritual. Is it spiritual? Would you say is like?
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, but it feels like it is. But again, it's just like coming back to your heart. Like, what's in your heart? What's your why? Why are you doing this? Why do you want to share it with the world? Why do you want to create such XYZ business?
Yeah.
And just like with
Yeah.
making food or making the cacao, you feel that energy fused into the employees that you hire and how you treat those employees and the resources that you use to create such a company, whether it be virtual or in person. And all of that is energy at the end of the day. And does that love stay in it or does it dissipate, which sometimes it does?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting that you touch on like team and I noticed that, on one hand you're working with Kenzie who, obviously you guys love each other, and then
Yeah.
in the other venture you're working with your husband.
Yeah.
So there's probably a component there of like working with the people that you love as well.
Yeah. And I do believe like I've gone back and forth. I'm like, can you work with like your partner or can you work with your best friend? And I'm like, yeah, you can if you're both really aligned in like the why. Like I really do think that's it. Obviously there's some
Right.
level of like, oh, your skill sets need to like balance out and equal out, but like
Hmm.
is that heart-centered why there? And it's like that love story is there for Kenzie and that love story is there for Christian within the thing that we created together. So it's like, oh, it's our baby.
Um, And then the other part that you touch on is like your skill sets needing to be complementary or work together. And so that kind of flows into zone of genius as well, which I guess is
Yeah.
like another piece of the equation is like loving what you do. You know, a lot of what we've talked about so far on this call has been like loving why you do it. Then I think, yeah, these other two components are quite key as well. Loving who you do it with, and
Yeah.
loving what you actually do, like the activities themselves.
Right. And not
Have,
to say that, like, I do believe that it's like at the end of the day, especially with running a business, like, and when they're small, it's like there's always going to be things and tasks that we don't love that are just part of
yeah,
it. But it's like, okay, is the main business and the main mission and the main activities something that you love doing? Like, for example, like leading the monthly journeys, like me and Kenzie absolutely love it. Like, that's why we
yeah,
just kind of fell into doing it. And
yeah,
of course, there's little tasks here and there that may not completely like make me jump over the moon excited, but that's okay
yeah.
because I love that I'm getting to share this with people.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned that like some of the operations work you've kind of left behind with some of the other companies that you're working with, and so I guess are you noticing like a shift in your zone of genius from uh, what you might have previously kind of said it was to like these new activities that you do, like facilitating these events and whatnot that kind of are lighting you up and are kind of a deeper alignment of zone of genius, or it's something that's
Yeah,
more that
absolutely.
you love
And
the activity itself?
yeah, exactly, and I think that was even, like, my own self-identity that I got to move through is, like, I had done operations, and I was, like, the operations person for years and years, like, over a decade in
Yeah.
other startups and businesses, and while I have amazing skill sets from doing that, and to some extent am good at it, it doesn't bring me joy anymore, and it doesn't light me up, and that doesn't feel like my zone of genius, especially when it's me working on something that's my own, which is really interesting. Like I can tune into some of that energy, but I don't like to necessarily hold that pillar in the
Yeah.
businesses that I now have birthed. And
Yeah.
that's just something really interesting that I've worked through, moved through, especially as like launching my own businesses.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. And so what are you most excited to be working on with these two ventures now, I guess?
Journey with Cacao, we'll start there because 'cause we've been on a cacao train.
Yeah.
Me and Kenzie have our next monthly cacao journey happening October 2025, so next month, which is super exciting. And just a cool milestone for us is everything has been virtual, and last February, we put on our first in-person cacao retreat, which was, like, a huge success. And we kinda went in with no expectations of this is just something we really wanna do, and it's okay if it doesn't make money because I think that's what's fun for both of us about it is we're not doing it like, "Hey, we have to do this to make money," so we're able to
Hmm.
just, like, fully do everything from our heart in the way we wanna do it, and so
Yeah.
that was
That's
a
awesome.
really special, like, milestone of just, like, doing that in-person event together, which was super fun.
Yeah.
Um and then with Is It Clean Land, so we have the website, and so, you can go to isitclean.org and search any ingredient specifically. Ingredients should translate for the most part, but for example, there's a lot of ingredients we have in, quote, "food" in America that is not allowed in Europe.
I love
So,
that quote food.
yeah, because I would not call it food, but it is
Yeah.
sure sold as food.
Yeah.
But we're trying to or our plan is to move into creating an app. And so we want to make it even easier than going to a website and having to search an ingredient or like look up a food item, but rather create an app where you could be in the grocery store and instead of spending an hour looking at bread, it's like, Is It Clean could just tell you which bread to buy.
Yeah. Boom. Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, if people listening to this want to reach out and get in touch, what's the best way for them to do so?
Yeah, Instagram is a really easy way to see what I'm up to and follow me. So my Instagram is at Al's Lyons. It's ALZLYONS. And if you're interested in all cacao things, journeywithcacao.com. And Is It Clean, clean eating food, isitclean.org.
Wonderful. Well, Ellie, this has
Easy.
been fantastic. Thanks again so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Chris. This was great.